For Australia, Jean-Denis Delatraz joins Hideki Noda at Larousse. Peter Sauber confirms a one-year exclusive deal for the new Ford Zetec R engine in 1995. Not since 1986 has the championship been decided in Australia, and then it was between Prost, Mansell and Piquet. Prost won. Who will it be this time, Hill or Schumacher?
I think Michael Schumacher.
I'm sure Michael Schumacher. The problem is I can't see into the future.
Tough fight, but Michael will take it in the end.
Hill.
Damon Hill.
I think Michael
Schumacher will win.
You have not, the crystal ball.
So Damon Hill.
Piquet. Because he's quickest.
I will. Oh.
Damon. I think he deserves it.
Damon Hill.
Australians know a thing or two about Formula One, and the locals have their own views.
Damon Hill will win the World Championship.
Ferrari, the best.
Schumacher. Hill. Hill, definitely.
Schumacher.
Schumacher will win it.
Schumacher.
Schumacher will win the World Championship.
Hill.
Schumacher.
Damon Hill.
Damon Hill, not a worry. Father and son team.
Nigel, hopefully, will come first. Hill will come second, and the other guy will come third. What an event!
Yeah, okay.
Mansell is quickest in Friday's official qualifying, with Schumacher second and Hill third, the young German having a sizable off at the end of the session.
Congratulations. Fantastic.
Hakkinen puts his McLaren Peugeot up there, fourth fastest. Barrichello is fifth, little over a tenth quicker than teammate Eddie Irvine in sixth. As in Japan, Saturday's qualifying session is spoiled by rain, and it's the Friday times which will determine the grid for the race. So Mansell is on pole, looking relaxed and as quick as ever.
Well, I mean, this track is very difficult, and you've got to explore the limits of the envelope, especially when you're driving against two great drivers that we have either side of us, and they don't leave anything to chance. And yeah, I chose the escape road a number of times, purely and simply that if I try to go around the corner, I probably might have ended up going, no, it's a bit quicker, you should try it tomorrow. That was a bit slower, Mike.
Schumacher makes the best start as Mansell gets too much wheel spin and drops to third behind Hill. Hakkinen is fourth until Mansell has a minor excursion which allows Hakkinen and Barrichello through. By lap 10, Hill and Schumacher are already lapping the Larousse of Delatraz, Hill maintaining a consistent gap of around 1.5 seconds to the Benetton in front. Lap 13, Blundell overshoots and slides across the runoff, managing to avoid contact with the tyre wall as Johnny Herbert retires with gearbox problems. Lap 14, Damon Hill is now just 7/10 behind Schumacher. Mika Häkkinen's McLaren is third, Mansell's moved up to fourth, Barrichello's fifth and Jean Alesi sixth. Lap 15, Eddie Irvine spins out of seventh at the end of the 190-mile-per-hour de Quetteville Terrace. Lap 18, Schumacher and Hill pit together. They arrive separated by less than a second and they depart the same. Hill proceeds to try every which way in his attempts to pass Schumacher, as does Mansell with Häkkinen. Alesi is lucky not to hit anything with this errant spin. He gathers it up quickly and doesn't even lose a place. Lap 26, Mansell is in for his first stop. Lap 28, Häkkinen comes in and so too does Barrichello. It's the latter who gets out first. Barrichello then runs wide over the curbs and it's enough to let Häkkinen through before Alesi's Ferrari whistles past the Brazilian and the Finn in one deft move. Lap 36, an error by Schumacher triggers the conclusion to the 1994 World Drivers and Manufacturers Championships. No words can describe the feelings that Damon Hill must have now. A marshal gives Schumacher news of Hill's retirement. This is the moment he knows he has become champion. The Benetton team are well aware. But it still takes a few moments for Schumacher to realise what he's achieved.
I pushed him very hard all the way. It was a terrific race.
and all I can say is that it's over now, and it's a bit of an empty feeling, but I think I gave him a good run for his money, and he certainly was feeling the pressure because he ended up falling off the road.
Mansell now leads the Australian Grand Prix from Gerhard Berger, who has considerable trouble passing Frentzen Sauber. Barrichello receives a 10-second stop-go penalty for exceeding the pit lane speed limit. Häkkinen receives the same penalty for the same offence. Lap 77, Häkkinen suffers brake failure. With 4 laps to go, Mansell still leads, just doing enough to fend off Berger's Ferrari, which is in second. Brundle is in third, Barrichello fourth, Panis fifth, and Alesi down a lap in sixth. Nigel Mansell wins his first Australian Grand Prix. Williams win the Constructors' Championship.
An elated Mansell probably knows better than anyone how Damon Hill is feeling. At the post-race press conference, he has nothing but praise for the job that Hill has done this year.
I've got to say, first of all, what a fantastic job he's done. I mean, he brought the championship alive, he won those races, which he had to, and I don't know the outcome of it. Obviously, he's lost the championship, but I tell you what, I'm for one very proud, and the whole country should be. He's done fabulous.
I have to say, Michael did a brilliant job all the year, not many mistakes, and I think he really deserved it. I'm sorry about Damon. I think Damon, as Michael says, showed, especially the last 2 races, that he also is able to do a great job. He also is able to win the championship, and it's always like this: one has to win it and one lose it, but he's gonna have still time to win it, and he's gonna do it.
Michael Schumacher is Germany's first ever Formula One world champion. He may have made it look easy, but it's been a tough year for him too.
The season has been started quite well, I would say, in Brazil. Even Aida, it was a good race, and then we came up to Imola. And what happened there is just when I talked about nightmare in the before, then I have to say it's in the other direction, and all of us know what kind of feelings we had to make about this in particular for Ayrton, but as well for Roland and as well for Carl, what happened in Monte Carlo. For me, it was always clear that I'm not going to win the championship, and it's Ayrton who is going to win the championship. But he hasn't been there for the last races, and I'd like to take this championship and give it to him.
Final round of the World Rally Championship was the Rally of Great Britain. Based in the town of Cheltenham, Leg 1's 13 stages looped around the heart of England. Colin McRae might have been out of the championship, but he was still the crowd's favourite, setting the equal fastest time on the opening stage around the town's racecourse. Championship title contender Carlos Sainz was 3rd quickest on stage 3 to move into 2nd place. His rival for the crown, Tommi MÄKINEN, had a frustrating start. He was 10th going into stage 5. A patch of oil caused the accident, which left MÄKINEN dragging the car through the remainder of the stage on 3 wheels. Another stage remained at Millbrook before a long road section back to Silverstone and the next service area.
First quite tight left. Suddenly I noticed it was completely dark and black, like a black tarmac, and and then immediately the car just snapped oversteer and we hit the concrete post.
Sainz, next through the stage, was slowed by the marshals but also found the oil. Carlos and co-driver Lewis Moyer survived the scare and came across MÄKINEN's sorry-looking car soon afterwards. Tommi's rally ended on the road section. Not even world champions are above the law.
Is there any hope of being world champion this year?
We can just wait and follow what is going on.
Mitsubishi's hopes now rested on Richard Burns, who came close to victory last year but was only 6th at the end of the day. Oriol drove well to finish 4th, helping both his teammate and Toyota in the 2 championships. This, though, was the last appearance by a Works Ford Escort, and Juha Kankkunen placed his 5th overnight. Joint fastest on stage 1 with his brother helped Alistair McRae's confidence in his first appearance in the Subaru Impreza. Colin was quickest on 7 of the first 8 stages, but lost 15 seconds when he suffered a tyre blowout. Alistair McRae and co-driver David Senior ended an impressive first day in 3rd place, while Sainz finished 2nd, 2 places higher than he now needed.
Well, obviously the situation has changed a little bit with Tommi out of the rally. I think it still is a long way. We have seen like anything can happen in any minute here, and this is a rally where surprises are coming very quickly. So obviously things has changed, but still a long way to go.
The driver of the day, though, was Colin McRae.
Not bad for us. Obviously we dropped quite a bit of time in Silverstone, but we got off with a lot more than Tommi did.
Leg 2's 8 stages were all run on the forestry roads of mid-Wales, around the area of Builth Wells. Colin McRae still led the rally, but the slippery conditions meant he was starting to feel the pressure.
Slow 3 left, tight.
It was Richard Burns and Robert Reid who were quickest on the first 2 stages, and the pair had leapt to 2nd. Like his big brother, Alistair McRae was also finding the conditions hard work and had dropped to 5th place. Didier Oriol was up to 3rd by the end of stage 15.
Poussez 3 pièges barrières, ouvre à fond sur emmanchement. Sur gauche à fond, 80 mètres. Elle est vive, hein, fais gaffe.
Daylight in the misty Welsh forests, and Sainz, who dropped back earlier, recovered to move back into the 4th place he needed for the championship. Kankkunen and Repo had begun the day in 6th place and seemed content to watch the battles unfolding ahead. They'd still be 6th after stage 19. Richard Burns was in one of those battles and wasn't hanging around. He briefly snatched the lead, albeit by only 4 seconds. McRae immediately fought back and was quickest on the next 3 stages to retake the lead. But by the time the Subaru returned to the service area, it was clear all was not well.
The engine's blown up in the road section.
So there's no way of continuing?
No, I don't think so. It's 3 cylinders and it'll hardly start, so I think it's finished.
We've looked inside the engine and there's some heavy damage to one piston, which we can't obviously tell at this stage what's caused it, but it won't go any further.
The day's final 2 stages were run in the dark. Didier Oriol wouldn't be completing them, though. Clutch failure forcing the Frenchman out.
5 attention bout. Sur léger droite à fond. Plus d'embrayage. Plus du tout? Non.
Carlos Sainz in the other Toyota lost 40 seconds on the same stage, but survived a 5th gear off to finish 4th.
Sexta, acaba rasante en derecha, para izquierda rápido con sexta, se abren. Para derecha rápido menos ras, ahí va.
How fast were you going when you went off?
Fast.
Kankkunen flew through the last 2 stages to finish the day in 3rd place, whilst Alistair McRae drove the sole remaining Works Subaru to a superb 2nd overnight. Burns finished 1st, making it a British 1-2.
The main thing for me to do tomorrow is just keep my concentration and
and just try and enjoy the stages, because as long as I'm enjoying myself, then the times will come.
Less than 24 hours before the World Championship's going to be decided. What do you dare think going to bed tonight?
Trying to sleep and relax, if possible.
Can you be relaxed?
Yes, I think so.
So, leg 3's 7 forestry stages in South Wales would decide both the rally and the championship. The first of those stages would be Alistair McRae's last.
The first I knew of that we were in the ditch was the car started to go a bit of an angle. I mean, you couldn't see anything in front of you. I thought it was still on the road, but into the ditch, and by the time I realised it was too late, there was something in the ditch that caught the front of the car and sent it rolling down the road, so that was it.
Alistair's retirement meant that Richard Burns now led by over 2 minutes.
Can you drive with your fingers crossed?
Yeah, I've got everything crossed.
The young Scotsman's departure had also promoted Juha Kankkunen to 2nd place. The rally was beginning to look good for Ford. SAINZ was now 3rd, concentrating just on surviving to the end of the rally.
I'm trying to, of course, concentrate and try to keep going and trying to finish the rally.
Welsh sunshine would round off the year. Harry Rovanpera finished 6th to give the new Seat its first World Championship point. Privateers also did well, with Sebastian Lindholm taking his escort to 5th place overall. Belgium's Gregoire de Mavius had been battling with Lindholm all afternoon and took the fight down to the last stage to claim 4th. Richard Burns had been fastest on all of the day's 7 stages and was delighted at winning his home event.
It's fantastic, not just for me, but remember also because of this Mitsubishi win the World Championship.
The perfect end to the Escort's 30-year career. Kankkunen 2nd, Thierry 3rd. But what of SAINZ? He and Lewis Moyers started the final stage in 4th place, but flames underneath the Toyota signalled that any thoughts of the world title were premature. With less than a kilometre to go, the rally'd saved its most cruel piece of luck exclusively for the Spaniards. The Corolla ground to a halt within sight of the stage finish, and despite Carlos and Lewis attending quickly to the fire, they could do nothing to save the situation. As Thierry's Escort sped past the stricken Toyota, Moyers' frustration finally exploded.
Bruno, we were expecting Carlos. What happened?
He's here, 300 meter. Engine. The bonnet is open. Unbelievable. 300 meter you can run to. He's there.
SAINZ's dreams of the championship lay in tatters.
Carlos, what happened?
The engine blew 500 meters to the end of the last stage.
Was there any warning it was going to happen?
No. Nothing at all.
Did you try pushing the car?
No way. No way.
What a way to finish the year.
Yeah. Not so lucky again. But okay. That's life.
Suddenly my brother phoned from the end of the last stage and he said, hey, could you believe Carlos' car is got the fire and he's standing here, he can't, he's just 300 meters before the end. And I said, no, don't be joking, it's a bit too serious. Yes, it's true, and I couldn't believe.
But there were others who were just as delighted. Richard Burns, after winning his home event for the first time, and Ford, who brought both their Escorts onto the podium on their last appearance. But the end of the season belonged to Mitsubishi, MÄKINEN taking the driver's title by 2 points from SAINZ, while the team made it a double by taking the manufacturer's championship for the first time.